Well, authorities in the United States say they've uncovered an Iranian plot to assassinate former President Donald Trump, but they say there's no evidence that the shooter who tried to kill Trump at a campaign rally on Sunday was connected to it. Iranian officials have denied the report. Tehran has repeatedly said it would seek revenge against Trump for the killing of the Iranian general Hossein Soleimani several years ago. We're here to talk about all of that. Behnam Ben Taleblu is a senior fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Thanks for being with us, Behnam. So Trump wasn't the first target of the Iranians, was he? Former officials in the Trump administration, people like John Bolton, who's been very outspoken on Iran, and the former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo were also targeted. Just how dangerous, how advanced are these plots by Iran?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. If we don't take the Islamic Republic of Iran at face value, particularly when they have the intention, the capability to carry out terrorist attacks, kidnapping attacks, and all sorts of other attacks that we've seen for several continents now over the past maybe 3 or 4 decades, we end up putting ourselves in a situation that we were in 2022 when we ignored Putin's threats to invade Ukraine. Many of these autocrats mean what they say. The Islamic Republic of Iran began acts of terrorism in the heyday of the revolution through lone wolf radicalization. It's since moved on to proxy groups and transnational criminal syndicates. So I think they certainly have the intention to carry out the mission against, or the threat against, the life of the former president, the life of many of his national security cabinet officials, including, as IRGC officials have mentioned, people like Brian Hook, people like Pompeo, people like Bolton, people like General McKinsey, for example. These are all names that the Iranian media has repeated as levying a death threat against for the killing of Qasem Soleimani in January 2020. And how the Islamic Republic has been able to, extend that long arm in places like Europe and South America. This week, I believe, is the 30th anniversary of the AMIA terrorist bombing in Buenos Aires, for example, which was midwifed by Hezbollah, but masterminded by Iran and the IRGC and political officials who are no longer around today, at least some of them. That all of this should be a warning to not dismiss these threats.
Meanwhile, with these threats being uncovered by the U.S. security organizations, you're also seeing Iranian officials, high-ranking officials, regularly visiting the United States for events at the United Nations in New York and so forth. Has there been any conversation about removing access for these diplomats?
It's certainly something that analysts and advocates have mentioned time and time and again. The Biden administration has undone some of the more tightly wound visa and diplomatic restrictions for Iranian officials at the UN that existed at the height of the max pressure period from 2018 to 2020. But right now, I think that conversation is falling on deaf ears, given that I think about a day ago, the deputy foreign minister, or at least the acting foreign minister, was in New York for UNSC consultations. I mean, the ledger is so lopsided here, we can really get into it. But for example, the Americans or the Biden administration permitted, I think, 30+ polling stations. If one even believes, absentee or foreign ballots even really matter in fixed selections rather than elections like they have in Iran, while, Iran does not even permit full diplomatic rights to the United States of America. So the ledger is very, very much lopsided.
Behnam Ben Taleblu at the FDD, thank you very much.
Thank you.